Hi everyone, we're here with another segment of Meet the Candidate, and today we have Phil Molina running for Oxnard City Treasurer. And one of the questions we wanted to talk about that is affecting, I think, the city is the communications in this 21st century. What's your feeling about how you might be able to look at it and improve it if you are elected?
That's a good question. From an accounting and auditing point of view is my direction. I'm going to answer that question. When I was the city's finance director, I hired a certified public accountant to come over to the city and to do some internal auditing, to look at business license, to look at utility rates. And I asked him first to start looking at the TOT tax, which is the transient occupancy tax that motels are supposed to pay to the city of Oxnard. He prepared a report after going out, getting the information from the motels, and he submitted that report. But by that time, I was no longer with the city. He did share a copy of that report with me, and it showed that the city had been underpaid by the different motels in the neighborhood of $2 million. He explained to me that, as I had directed him when I hired him, I wanted him to enforce the tax and to make sure the city is getting paid all of the money it's entitled to. But he informed me that after I'd left that he was told not to do that. And now we find ourselves in a situation again where the city is, of course, short of revenues, and they're looking for more revenues. And because of my direct experience with the city of Oxnard, as I just explained, I've been suggesting for months now that the city really needs to get an independent internal auditor. And one of the auditor's first requirements will be to audit various revenue-producing activities such as a TOT, such as business license, such as the rates in our utilities, to make sure that everyone's paying the rates that are proper, and where they're not paying it, provide them a proper, reasonable time to bring their payments current. Instead of adding hundreds or thousands of more pages of more ordinances and laws and rules about new ways of generating revenue, I think first it's best to look at what have our forefathers given us. Generally, I found that they're good laws, they're good rules. Our problem is enforcing them equitably, consistently, and fairly. And I think a large part of what we're talking about here is the issue of communication. As the treasurer, I would be proposing that we move forward with those kind of internal audits. I would be communicating that to the council, to the city manager, of course, and to the public. So I would want to see that kind of open communication between finance and the treasurer and the city manager so we can work together to better the city. The other thing is that comes to mind is we've been recently misinformed that the city's current financial operating system is outdated, antiquated, and not up to par. What we found out recently after Councilman Perillo asked me to look into it is that indeed the current software the city bought in 1998 is up to date. In fact, that company has been updating the city regularly every year, 3 times a year. But we're learning from staff that what the problem has been is that even though they have had that software updated to state of the art, they've never been trained in it, even though they've asked to be trained in it. And in my simple way of thinking, that's as if we were to buy a 747 airplane or jet and say, Phil Molina, go fly the jet. I'm not a pilot. I know nothing about flying the jet. I need to be trained before I can get behind the cockpit. Likewise with the employees, we need to make sure that they're given the opportunity to be trained in that software. They're begging for that information. They're begging for that training. I personally know many of the employees in the city of Oxnard are excellent employees. They're trying their best. They want to be proud of what they're doing.
Agreed.
As executive managers, we simply need to give them the path to do that. Give them the training, give them the guidance, and then we make sure that on a daily basis that the work is being done. So in my mind, those are maybe 2 ways to identify this issue of communication between the city manager, between other departments, between the council, and also within our own department. Last, perhaps, I want to engage the city employees and the city staff at the treasurer's office to help to identify control weaknesses and to suggest ways of improving those control weaknesses. And to that end, I would be willing to provide my own money to offer awards to city employees who can help make the process more efficient, more productive, and more transparent to the public. And the last thing I've said in public, and I maybe could address now, I would also, I'm strongly urging the council and the staff to move forward with the hotline to help protect the employees and the citizens who report problems. Sometimes the problems we want to report, they're not illegal, but it's something we've missed, but the employee knows about it. And well, they can bring that to our attention and say, hey, you guys forgot this. Sometimes they're afraid to do that, and that's what a hotline is for. And to that end, I've offered my own funds to get that hotline started if I'm elected to the position.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That was very, very well thought out. And like I said, good luck to you in the upcoming election.
Thank you.